Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about graphing an equation in standard form. Now, if you remember, standard form looks like ax plus by equals c. That's what standard form is. And standard form, we're going to look at a little bit differently because all the other equations that we've graphed, we always look for an intercept or for slope or stuff like that. But standard form, you actually do not need to find a slope for. What we're going to do is find the x and the y-intercept. We've already talked about the y-intercept being, where the line crosses the y-axis. So somewhere along this axis, the line's going to cross, and that'll be the y-intercept. The x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis, which is right here. So if I were to draw a line like that, my x-intercept would be right here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 5, 0. And my y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4, would be at 0, 4. Now, what's special about the intercept is that one of the variables is always 0. On the x-intercept, the y is 0 because it isn't moving up or down any. So the y shift is 0. And on the y-intercept, my x is 0 because this doesn't shift to the left or to the right any. So it just stays right there. It only moves up. So when I want to find my x-intercept and my y-intercept, probably see. There we go. My x-intercept then is going to be something 0, and my y-intercept is going to be 0 something else. So I just need to know what those two things are. And I can do that by substituting in here part of my point. So if I know that y is 0, so if I come over here and I take negative 3x plus 0 equals negative 2. Right? So I know that that is 0. So what I'm left with then, because that kind of goes away, is negative 3x equals negative 2. If I divide both sides by negative 3, I get x is 2/3. So that is my x-intercept then. And I can write that here, 2/3. My y-intercept, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my same equation, but this time I'm going to put a 0 in for x. Plus y equals negative 2. Negative 3 times 0 is nothing, so I end up with y equals negative 2. So right here, I can put negative 2. So now I have my two intercepts. So I'm going to come over to my line, or to my graph then. Let me erase this. Okay. And I'm going to put a dot on my y-intercept of 0, negative 2, which would be right here. And then my x-intercept, which is 0, 2/3, which is about right here. You know it's a fraction, but that's okay. Then I'm going to draw my line. And looks like my line is about like that. It's a little bit off, but about like that. And there's my line. I don't need a third point because if I'm going to do it with intercepts, I just need those two intercepts and then I can just draw my line. The one thing you want to be careful about is make sure that you're putting the x-intercept on the x line and the y-intercept on the y line. If you get those backwards, if I had put the negative 2 on my x line and then my 2/3 on this, then I'd have gotten a line like that and it looks very different. So make sure you have your x and your y-intercepts in the right place. Let's try another one. So I want to do 0 something and something 0, and it's perfectly fine to do it this way. So if I put 0 in, and remember that this is x and this is y, so if I put 0 in for x, I end up with negative y equals negative 7. Now I can't keep negative y. I have to have that as a positive y. So I'm going to just divide by negative 1 on both sides. That'll make my negative go away here. And it makes the 7 then, or the negative 7 turn to a positive 7. So positive 7 there. Then if I put a 0 in for y, I end up with x equals negative 7. Since there's no negative in front of that, I don't have to do anything with that. So I have negative 7. So I can come over to my graph, and for my first point, x is 0, y is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 7, 0. And there is my line. Okay, let's try another one. 5x minus 3y equals 15. Again, I'm going to pick my two intercepts here. If I put 0 in for x, okay, so that's going to make that term go away, and I have negative 3y equals 15, so I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides, and y is negative 5. And I'm going to do the other one, and I'm going to put 0 in for y. So 5x equals 15, divide both sides by 5, and x equals 3. Okay, so 0, negative 5 is right there, and then 3, 0 is right there, and there's my line. Okay, let's try another one. All right. 5x plus 2y equals 10. I'm going to find my two intercepts. I'm going to draw my 2 points out here, putting 0 in for x and 0 in for y. Start with the x. If I put a 0 in here for x, oops, that should be plus, sorry. That goes away. I have 2y equals 10. Divide both sides by 2, and y equals 5. And I'm going to do the y. 5x plus 2 times 0 equals 10. That's 0. 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. And x equals 2. 0, 5 is right there. And 2, 0 is right there. And there's my line. Okay. Let's try one more. Why don't you give this one a try? Okay, so the first thing I notice about this equation is that it's not actually in standard form because this 12 is on the same side of the equation as my x and my y. So I could move it first. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides, so I get x minus 4y equals negative 12. Now it's in standard form, and then I can do my finding my intercepts a lot easier this way. So if I put 0 in for x, okay, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4, and y is a positive 3. And then if I put in 0 for y, that goes away, and I end up with just x equals negative 12. Okay, so 0, 3, 1, 2, 3 is right here. And then negative 12, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm kind of off my graph here, but it's going to be about right there. Oh, that's a kind of curved line. Let me try that again. We don't want curved lines just yet. So 10, 11, 12, my dot was about right there, right? Oh, that's better. And again, you should be using a ruler to help you draw so your lines are straight. So that's how you graph a line in standard form using x and y intercepts.